Hello, happy Thursday, happy Jupiter Day. What was on my mind today when I got out the shower and I was dressing is it's so normalized it's insane how normalized self-betrayal is. And just like by that, just going against ourselves, for the convenience of just like other things, whatever it may be here. I don't know. And if there's just, I know I'm a broken record when I talk about this stuff, but I don't really care. And I can't stress it enough how much of a firm believer I am in just quite like literally just living a life that's true to yourself, living an authentic life, and following the things that you're passionate about. And when I say just following the things that you're passionate about, like I'm not just doing naturally just doing what you love, what you enjoy, what puts a smile on your face, what you're excited to show up for every day, every morning, whatever, right? And bless me, we're just kind of just like at a point now, like where people are just lying to themselves and gaslighting themselves, or just forcing themselves into a life of misery, all because naturally, of course, for instance, like pursuing something, a career, or being in some kind of like relationship, whatever it may be, like the career aspect might just like it's going to bring in like money and stuff, or perhaps like being in a certain kind of like relationship or whatever, or it might appease other people outside of you, like it's doing something for the sake of keeping up with appearances and whatnot here. And naturally, like thinking about this is like as well too, it's just kind of like it just naturally gets me to thinking like it's so unfortunate as well too how corrupted like money has made things. I mean, I will honestly just blame money for what's simply just like happening with the world right now, in the sense of the world's quite like we're killing the earth, you know what I mean. And as I've said many times, like I'm all for the earth actually like kind of just getting rid of us and just just like having a reboot. Like I'm genuinely like all for it. Unfortunately, I hate that with that it comes like along just I hate it's unfortunate what all of that will bring or whatever, but I'm really all for the earth just kind of getting rid of us and whatnot here. But naturally, of course, as well too, that makes me think that like within like nature, everything here is cyclic. I mean, even in our lives, all is a cycle and whatnot here. And I wonder, because all is really just feels like a pendulum. It comes up, goes down, all whatever. And I'm just like, how long does this cycle continue of just like like things are good here and then like things get corrupted, and then why are things so cyclic? Where does it end? Like where does it end here, right? But anyway, I guess getting back to what I was like really talking about is just that like what was I saying? Oh, my nose is a little runny. What was I saying? Oh god. Yeah, I hate how corrupted money has just made everything. And naturally in that corruption, like I said, we find ourselves just really gaslighting ourselves and telling ourselves like these beautiful like little lies or whatever it may be, all for the sake of just like having money and the comfort money brings and whatever. And there's nothing wrong with wanting, like obviously, like I would like love to have more money than I do right now because it's a convenience, like it helps. And it it's there's nothing wrong with wanting money or anything of this nature. That's definitely like not what I'm saying, and like of course not. But naturally, I try my best each and every day, whatnot, to live in accordance with my own ethics and my own morals, because to each their own. And what might seem morally what might seem like ethical to me might not to another person, so whatever, right? But each and every day I try to like live in accordance to my own truth, whatever that may be. And like naturally I can't be a hypocrite. I can't force myself to do something I know that doesn't resonate with me. Like, I can't force myself into a career I know I don't want to do. I can't force or mold myself or my life into something that I know that isn't mine, despite how beneficial or like of an advantage like it will give me and whatnot, right? Like, I'm simply just choosing to just do the things that I enjoy and like to live a life that I'm choosing, like from like right now, to just like live the life that I want for myself, even if it's slowing me down or whatever it may be here. But like, yeah, like just going back to just like the beginning of just what I was saying, like with this whole like self-betrayal thing, like I just reflect about it like a lot, because it's like the amount of times it's insane how normalized it is. People are just simply continuously subjecting themselves to things they don't even like, but or subjecting themselves to just like a life of displeasure, whatever shall I say, but it's like all for the sake of it. All stems back down to just like attaining money. You know what I mean? Like, I'll think of so many times, like I'll ask a person perhaps like what they're perhaps like in school for, what they're doing career-wise, whatever, and it's so more often than not that like it's the complete opposite of something that they actually enjoy or that they love or whatever. And it's just that like, why is doing the things that we don't love, why is it just so like normalized? I don't know, like it's just so confusing to me. Like, if I don't like something, if something brings me displeasure, it doesn't make sense. Why is it so ingrained in us to subject ourselves to like misery? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like work now and then like reap it all like later. And I'm not saying that people need to like just like live a life of just being like lazy and not doing things, right? Absolutely not, because that's not it. I don't know, man. I guess like what it is as well though too, like it all just stems back down to just money. Money can be, and I just don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like wanting money. Like I said, we're all human beings and money gives us things, it's fun. But it's just that like I'm also just like I'm just looking at the way everything is just going like right now, and it's just that like things are just so insanely corrupted. And this sense of corruption, naturally it has to, I can also just correlate that to a sense of self-betrayal, because what we do to the earth in general as well too is we're doing it to ourselves. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I know this is kind of just like derailing, but it's what I do, whatever, I don't care. But like, how does one get so consumed with having so much control that it gets to the point where like this sense of control is very blatantly like killing the earth? How is having that much money like so important that you're willing to just jeopardize future generations and everything. You know what I mean? And that's like the thing as well too, though, why it's so, like, I always talk about, it's so important to just like know yourself and to just be rooted and grounded in yourself, right? Because like with this sense of, with how normalized it is to betray ourselves all for the sake of just money and everything of this nature, we literally see it in front of our freaking faces, that these people with these insane, like, with all this, with this insane amount of money that they have, it's literally like not enough. Like, it's going to the point where they're, like I said, willing to kill this planet just to have more. You know what I mean? Like, it's never enough. And I think that, we're often taught that the sense of fulfillment or contentedness or security, whatever, we're taught that it's only money that can give it to us. And I'll disagree. You know what I mean? Like, it helps. Money does help. But if you're not within yourself stable or rooted or grounded or even sure of who you are, it's money can't do, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess, like, what it is, because I guess capitalism or whatever, we're taught that, like, materialism, whatever, is what's going to help us, and it's not, or whatever. And like I said, the third time in this video, nothing wrong with wanting money and wanting things or whatever, but you know what I mean. But like I was saying, like, with the whole thing of like self-betrayal, or just in general, like, just being true to yourself, sometimes that'll slow you down. Or like that thing I was thinking to myself as well too, though, that saying of just like a starving artist, you know what I mean? The whole notion of just being a starving artist, there's beauty in choosing to do the things that you love, that brings you pleasure, that comes so naturally to you, still choosing to do that, even though sometimes that brings setbacks or whatever it may be here. And I will say, being in that energy as well too is what really keeps you connected to your inner child, to your imagination, to your whimsy. And it's like we're in a world that, like, literally tries to break that part of ourselves away from us, like, from the jump. But it's also very interesting, because that's simply what, like, those within, like, as we see just like happening, the obsession that they have with just children, you know what I mean, or just being youthful. They try to take that away from people for themselves. I feel like this is kind of just like kind of going all over the place, but I feel, despite how I feel like it, you can still connect the dots or whatever. Okay, and I guess, like, to just like wrap this all up, where is this like all coming from? Like, I was just thinking to myself as well too, that, like, definitely choosing to be in accordance with my own truth and what makes sense to me has definitely caused, I don't want to say that, I was going to say it has caused some setbacks, but I'll not say that, but it has definitely, I'm definitely now not where I thought that I would be. But where I thought that I would be, like, years ago, was because I was just kind of doing things, like, chose to pursue psychology, to make money or whatever. And that is something that somebody should not simply be in all for the sake of having money, because you are dealing with people's mental health and well-beings and their mind, and to go into a career that is so delicate as such or whatever, just for the sake of like, that's not good. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do that. But I also, like, I'm unemployed and everything as well too, though, right now, because it's hard for me to give a fuck about something that I don't care about. you know, like these, like, I just, if I, and I don't like having to work like customer service and everything as well too, like, it really wakes you up to see that like these people don't really care about you, you know, you're just like a worker at the end of the day. And don't even get me started on like the customers as well too. You know what I mean? Like, I had to work like in the insanely like gentrified parts. I've worked in gentrified parts in like Manhattan and Brooklyn or whatever, and these people don't care. And I can't care either. I don't give a fuck enough to subject myself to that. So, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I was thinking about all this morning, and, you know, was feeling a little emo today, but I can't see myself doing things any other way. I just can't. This doesn't make sense to me. Um, like every single freaking time, like I'll ask a person like, what are they doing, what are they in school for, what's their job, or whatever it may be here, and like it's always majority of the time the complete opposite of something that they actually like really love. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with work, not saying that. I just, majority, like I said, majority of the time it's something the complete opposite, and you ask, oh, why are you doing that? It's because like, oh, you know, like it's just to bring in money or whatever. And I don't I don't know. Maybe it's just my brain is just hardwired like this, but like it just, why are we so why is it so normalized for us these days to just go against ourselves and our nature? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense to me. And like, you know, like fuck it. Like if that works for a person, then that works. It's just, for me, it's just so mind-boggling to me how normalized self-betrayal is. I hope this makes sense. I don't know. It does. Whatever.